Right, this is the one insight interview that I'm very nervous about because in our hot seat is the founder of Discovery Insure and director of the company, Themba Baloyi. Welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you.
I'm nervous though. Are you going to be judging my driving? Because isn't that what you guys do at Discovery Insure?
I don't intend to make you nervous, but I will be observing how you're driving.
Are you giving me a scorecard afterwards?
Absolutely.
Explain to us very, very quickly. I mean, as the founder, you've been with Discovery since 2001. Discovery Insure is your brainchild. What was your motivation behind creating an insurance with a difference?
I mean, the key thing for me has always been whenever you pursue any entrepreneurial adventure, it's about solving genuine problems. And here we've got a country with a high rate of fatalities, road fatalities.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's a problem that's not going to go away on its own. We can speak all we like and we can shout and scream until we blue in the face. Until such time that we become entrepreneurial and innovative about how to solve this problem, it will remain with us for a very long time. And so for me, that's how the idea of Discovery Insure came into the equation, to look at these road fatalities and find a practical solution to solving these issues. We should never lose the understanding that we're dealing with people's lives.
Yeah.
And when we're talking about 14,000 road fatalities in this country, that's 14,000 families
Affected.
And you've got to appreciate also that we're dealing with people who are supposedly the future of this country. And if you lose those people, we're shooting ourselves on the foot.
Big time.
And so it's a structural shift from a typical way of looking at business. It's where you take business and infuse it with a specific purpose, because you're trying to deal with real, genuine issues instead of just profiteering.
Yeah. Explain to me how it works now. So I'm with Discovery Insure.
Mm-hmm.
How does your system monitor how I drive? What is the benefit to you, and what is the benefit to me as the consumer at the end of the day?
So let me start with the benefit to you. Hopefully, as you drive like you're driving right now, you become less stressed because you begin to understand how you drive. You understand your driving patterns.
Okay.
And to understand those driving patterns, we've got what we call the ABCs: acceleration, cornering, and speeding, that we measure. And then, of course, what we've since done with the introduction of an app and tag, the mobile application, is to monitor the phone usage while you're driving. And we measure these things because we've studied and understood that those are the contributors to road fatalities. Those are the contributors to road crashes. And if we can solve those issues, hopefully, then our impact is immediate and evident. And this is why we've gone with the approach which says we've looked at what the Road Traffic Management Corporation is saying, what are the types of violations that lead to a crash, and we do know it's either speeding, it's either harsh braking, harsh cornering, and we realize then, okay, you having looked at acceleration, braking, cornering, and speeding, then create proper interventions. And I think, with all honesty, if we can correct those things and we get our drivers to understand what we call a performance envelope of a vehicle, where they understand no matter how powerful your car is, your environment also contributes.
Yeah.
So if you understand the environment around you,
You're more aware as a driver.
and you are able to take corrective action, and you are able to anticipate potential hazards, then we make you a better driver, and we save your life and hopefully save the lives of others on the road as well.
You see, you're opening a can of worms here, because obviously this whole system works on an app-based platform. It involves your phone. Everyone's connected, everyone's on their phone. Is that not potentially the biggest problem with accidents at the moment, is people using their flipping phones while they're driving, texting and driving? Is there a way for Discovery Insure to ensure that doesn't happen? How do we make people leave their phones, not use their phones? I mean, is there a way of, with technology, making it that the phone doesn't work in those type of environments?
I mean, so on an app and tag, as an example, we are able to measure whether you've been using your phone while you're driving. And the key thing there, while we haven't really enforced that people cannot use their mobiles while they're driving, is that it's self-penalizing if you're using a phone while you're driving.
Okay.
Because the points that you would have gotten to get your cash back become less.
Because
and
your driving habits are erratic.
Yeah, and therefore but also we look at the phone motion.
Yeah.
So we measure the phone motion. We can see if the phone is up and down, and we can tell if you're using it or not using it. At the end of your drive, then you've got your score, and then you've got a trip. At the end of each trip, you are able to see what score you've achieved.
Yeah.
And for me, that is the most practical and the most effective way, because what we've picked up is that those that monitor their driving scores on a continuous basis, they tend to do better. So it's a very basic thing. The more information you have at your fingertips, the better you become.
But I guess critical is, again, in terms of rewarding people, because that's the only way you're probably going to change behavior. If the guy is seeing a benefit in terms of a preferential rate for his insurance because he's a better driver. So I think that is key. But would you like to see some sort of intervention from a manufacturer, from a network perspective, that a phone only works in a certain place in a car which isn't in your hands, essentially? Would that be the next step?
No doubt it will help a great deal. But of course you need to take another factor into account. That would be the issue of emergencies.
Yeah.
Those who use their phones in case of emergencies. What happens if you disable the phone while it's in the vehicle? What happens in an emergency? So as long as those things are taken into account, we've taken all the risks into account, definitely it's worth considering and probably even implementing a blockage while someone is driving. Because these are the things that perhaps we don't understand, that the highest number of fatalities, if you look at the top 10 killers of people in the world, according to the World Health Organization, it's estimated by 2030 that HIV will be below road crashes as a contributor to what kills people. And for me, that's a concern, because when you start analyzing what are the key things, if we don't intervene, mobile phone usage and all these other factors are the things that are going to make us to lose people while they're driving.
But I imagine then for you, seeing how transportation is going to change with things like Uber and I suppose fully autonomous driving, that's not going to affect Discover Insure, because at the end of the day, vehicles are still going to need to be insured, whether you're driving them or you're using a self-drive service.
Yeah, I mean, we don't fully comprehend the extent to which this is going to change the landscape. But you are right. There will still be a need to cover those vehicles, whether they're autonomous or whether they are Uber, whether there is some form of coverage is going to be required. And therefore, the market will still be there, and there will still be a need for numerous financial services products, particularly insurance, to deal with the issues in the event of a catastrophe. So I'm comfortable that as much as we haven't fully understood what's going to happen in the future, we can anticipate that there will always be a need to make sure that that vehicle is covered.
And it's exciting because it's actually dynamic times. I mean, the whole shift of how people view transport is going to change. Themba, listen, thank you so much for joining us here on Ignition GT. Fantastic to spend time with you, and I'm really, really happy that the future of how people view motoring is in safe hands. That's great.
Thank you so much.